Resellers are the scum of the earth. I mean, seriously, how can you live with yourself? You're practically stealing from the underprivileged. They need those clothes. Firstly, I'd like to point out that every person has the right to walk into a Goodwill, buy whatever they want with their hard-earned cash, and do whatever they want with it afterwards, including burn it, and it's nobody's business. But let me tell you why reselling is one of the least scummy things that you can do with thrifted clothes. Enlighten me. Did you know that more than 100 billion new garments are made every year and 92 million tons of it ends up in our landfills? Yeah, so my point is there's no shortage of clothing in our thrift stores. So me exercising my right to buy thrifted goods isn't taking away from anybody. Additionally, I can pinpoint at least 3 locations within a 10-mile radius from my house that gives away clothing for free to people in need. But isn't Goodwill and other thrift stores' mission to provide clothing to the underprivileged? These stores aren't made for sourcing your inventory. Actually, while Goodwill may be a nonprofit, its mission has never been to provide clothes to the underprivileged. If it was, they'd be giving the clothes away for free like those other places I just mentioned. Their mission is to create jobs and job training. And other local thrift stores often have other missions, like the one I visit regularly, who wants to sell as much as possible and then all the proceeds go toward the local battered women's shelter. Trust me when I say they beam when they see me roll up with a cart full of clothing. Well, I heard Goodwill jacked up their prices because of resellers like you, so now you're making people less likely to buy stuff from Goodwill to support their mission to provide jobs. That's actually untrue. Goodwill raised their prices to support their mission due to inflation and operating costs and market trends. They don't care who buys their inventory and what they do with it afterwards. They just need to make enough money to support their mission by raising wages, just like hundreds of other companies have done in these past few years. You're still taking all the good stuff before other people can get a hold of it. As if I didn't already mention it thrice, everyone has the same right to walk into a Goodwill at any time, including standing outside right before opening time if they want to get their paws on the good stuff, which, by the way, is not something that I do, and a lot of resellers also don't have time for that. But they have the right to, as does everybody else. And if you want to get upset at resellers who mark up the good stuff, Goodwill is amongst the biggest. Not only do they resell goods that they got for free in their stores, but they are now cherry picking the good stuff and putting it on their website for a markup, just like I do, as it supports their mission. They're trying to make as much money as possible. They're still a business, let's not forget. And they also have a right to do that. Okay, fine. So how does you personally reselling items for a markup make you the least scummy thrifter? Well, not only is this a form of recycling and a way to stimulate the economy, but it's also a way to get an item to someone who's specifically looking for it that they couldn't find elsewhere. For example, as a buyer on eBay, there's a type of jeans that fit me just right, and I don't want to pay full price for them. I never find them in any of my thrift stores, but somebody on eBay does, so I buy from them. I'm absolutely willing to pay $30 for an $80 pair of jeans, and so are other people. None of my buyers have ever been upset at the amount that they've had to pay for my items. Otherwise, why would eBay even exist? Plus, that's how supply and demand works. Ever notice how the price of eggs goes up when there's a widespread outbreak of avian influenza? It's because the supply can't meet the demand. It's up to the buyer to decide if buying that item at that price is worth it. Fair point. Okay, so to be clear, there's an overwhelming amount of inexpensive and free clothing available to the underprivileged. Yep. And thrift stores aren't trying to provide clothes to the underprivileged. They want to create jobs or have other missions, like donating the proceeds to battered women's shelter, for example. Yep. You're also recycling and keeping desired clothing out of landfills. Yep. And also stimulating the economy, which I guess is good for everyone. Yep. And you're providing a way for people to get the exact item they're looking for and happy to pay a discounted price for. Yes. But what about those resellers who sell things for more than market value to people who wouldn't know otherwise? Or the ones who state that something is brand new, but it's actually broken when the buyer receives it and they can't return it? Or the ones that bulk buy all the toilet paper when there's a shortage and a pandemic, and then they sell it to people that need it for 10 times the price? Now those are scummy resellers. It's still every buyer's responsibility to check comps to avoid reselling scams like these. Please know that most of us are just humble people trying to make a little extra cash on the side doing something that we love. The reselling community is huge and full of really great people. We are not the problem. Okay, that actually sounds pretty neat and totally ethical. Thanks. Want to go thrifting? Yeah, let's go. Thank you for watching my little skit. I made this because I very consistently on social media see comments on reselling posts, not just on my own, but on other resellers as well, of people just bashing resellers. But it is the internet. People on the internet are always looking for a reason to complain. I hope you learned something from this skit, especially if you're a skeptic of resellers. And if you're just getting started reselling, I have a little bit more advice for you. Here's how not to be a shady reseller. When you're shopping at thrift stores or bin stores, there's some etiquette that you should probably follow. Don't steal. obviously. Don't take stuff from other people's carts. Don't stand by the service store at Goodwill and wait for them to bring out new bins and then go grabbing for the bins like a rabid animal before they can even put the items on the shelves. Don't hide items at the thrift store and then come back and buy it when it's at a discounted price. Don't switch tags to get a lower price. Remember, we are trying to support the nonprofit's mission. If you have a problem with Goodwill's mission, don't shop there. Please do not harass employees about when new inventory is coming out. It is not their job to tell you that. They do not owe you that information. And don't haggle at garage sales or at church sales unless someone is being so completely outrageous about the price of stuff. If someone wants to sell you a coffee mug for $5 but you think it's only worth $1, walk away. Don't buy it. When you're selling stuff on eBay, don't lie. Be very upfront and honest about any flaws that your item has. If you don't, not only are you being a shady reseller, but you also risk dropping your seller rating if you get any negative feedbacks or if you get too many returns that are item not as described. And don't sell counterfeit goods. In the reselling community, support your reselling community. We're all in this together. As I mentioned in this video, there's more than enough items in this world to resell. It isn't a competition. Don't leave nasty comments on other resellers' social media. That says a lot more about you than it does about them. And let me repeat that. When you leave a nasty comment about anything on anybody's video about anything, that says more about you than it does about the person you are commenting on. Don't get upset if another reseller buys something from you and resells it higher than you sold it to them for. You sold the item at your agreed upon price, and good for that reseller. Their store might perform better than yours, and this could also be a learning opportunity for you. And last but not least, just don't be a All right, that is all I have for today's video, you guys. The last video I posted got over 600 views. And I am blown away. I've gotten a good chunk of new subscribers since I last posted a video. I just want to thank all of you so much for the support. I love the reselling community. I meet the coolest people and everybody is just so supportive. As always, if you are interested in more reselling content, especially from a fresh perspective, I just started reselling 4 months ago. If you don't know, or if you haven't watched any of my other videos, go give it a watch. Subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss out on my next one, and hit the like button if you found this helpful, and feel free to share this video with anybody who thinks that all resellers are scum. I wish you all the luck in your reselling this week, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! Resellers are the scum of the earth. I mean, seriously, how can you live with yourself? You're practically stealing from the underprivileged. They need those clothes. Let me ask you this. The last time that you donated a trash bag full of clothes that you no longer needed, did you give it to Goodwill to upsell it, or did you give it away to somebody for free? Okay. So let's stop pretending that you care so much about the underprivileged and accept that you're just looking for a reason to complain about something that doesn't affect you. I could never act. I could never be an actor. I just go and stumble on my words. Perfect. Nailed it.